Hello. What was that?
I can't hear you.
Ah. Oh.
Set up, man.
You still can't hear me?
I got you now.
Cool.
Watch that Masters. Watch any of that.
How could you not? Storytelling and sports at its finest, and sport at its finest. It
Sport.
really was.
Sport makes it sound like it's instead of sports, it makes it sound so much more regal.
It does. And that's why the Brits use that term. Oh, you went to
I
sport.
think I've got another one. This is an amazing catchphrase for some sort. I don't even know what company it is,
Okay.
but their slogan needs to be "Turn your lunch into a luncheon."
Ooh, I like that. Turn your lunch into a luncheon. Because like what is luncheon but like a lunch that
Lunches are
is ready to go?
it's
Serious.
fancy.
It's fancy.
Yeah, people are dressed up.
Shall we
It's out.
luncheon? Yeah.
It's an event, a
Turn
luncheon.
your lunch into a luncheon. Maybe
It's
a
something you
caterer.
get an invitation to.
Yeah. Maybe a caterer or like a photographer could use that, right?
I think I was thinking more of like the most expensive crackers in the
Right.
cracker section of the
Car
grocery
water
store.
crackers.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh Caviar.
Salt and pepper. Yeah, car water crackers. Yeah.
Yeah. The crackers that came in every single gift basket you've ever received.
They're
Yeah,
all
I haven't
made.
seen a gift basket in so long. Remember when you were a kid and someone would give your parents, like, a gift basket and it would be
Yeah.
open season?
We get them in the office every
Do
year.
you?
Every office I've been in gets one at some point. Yeah, people still send that shit.
What's in them now? We're not doing edible arrangements anymore, are we?
No.
That was a
No,
dark
those
time.
COVID really killed the edible arrangement. Talk about a business that was affected by the pandemic.
Yeah. There's
They were
a
just like,
there's
you know
a
what? This let's just cut our losses right now.
there's an edible
Fucking May.
arrangements storefront on, like, on the main street that's right outside where we live,
Yeah.
and for the life of me, I'm like I guess it's probably where they need to assemble and ship everything, I guess, because, like, what is there gonna be foot traffic that comes in and orders an edible arrangement, what, for themselves or someone else?
Yeah, it's the flagship. The I it's probably just like the International House of Donuts across from Al's Cafe. They don't actually sell donuts in
Oh
there. It's
my
just
god, I remember. Is that place still
gambling.
there? They
Who
can't be.
knows?
It can't be.
I'm sure that building's still there. I'm sure it's not the International House of Donuts.
IHOD. The un the lesser known little brother of IHOP, the International
You
House
could
of Donuts.
see Al's Cafe was the name of the place across the street, right? Am I thinking of the right place?
Al's
It's
Cafe.
like a
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like a
yeah.
pizza
You're right.
place, I thought. Okay. And upstairs on the International House of Donuts, it had 2 floors. That's, sign number 1 that something's going on there because it wasn't a residence. It wasn't like a mixed use property.
Yeah.
International House of Donuts
I got
on
it
the
on that.
ground floor, and then through the windows from the street, you could see the video poker machines. You could see the glow of the machines.
Um, I guess that would have been Upper St. Clair, or is that Bethel Park technically?
No, I think that would have been Peters Township.
Peters Township, that's what I meant, yeah.
It was south. South on 19.
South on Route 19. So Eaton Park begins construction of new Peters Township location, and they're showing a building raised. I'm wondering if that could be it. But I'm
Rest
not
in peace.
seeing anything come up when I search for International House of Donuts, Peters Township.
Rest in peace.
See,
International House of Donuts.
that's like the chance of our childhood being digitalized is much lesser than the chance of modern day children. Like,
Sloan, yeah, everything that she ever does or knows will be immortalized.
dude, she's gonna have a flip book of her life.
Yeah,
Like we
Google Photos
constantly
will compile everything for her.
That's right.
Oh, Google just acted up on my phone. Sorry, Google.
Apologize to Google.
Sorry, Google.
Like, how cool would it be to take a little virtual stroll through South Hills Village in the 1990s?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just Google it and see if anything comes up. South Hills Village in the 1990s. Okay, we're not coming up empty.
All right. I'm sure there's some pictures in there. I mean, there were fucking ducks inside that building.
There was a peacock. Peacock, too. I remember this. Remember this entrance?
Yep. That one was there for a long time.
Style? Yeah, it was. Well,
that's classic. I don't
We
remember
got
there
here
being
with
hills.
Eagle and Farmore. Remember this? Remember this
That
parking lot?
wasn't South Hills Village though. That was
No, it was near
over
it, though.
by. Yeah, it's in that area.
Farmore, way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its
Yep.
time. It was like a giant CVS before giant CVSs.
Right.
Cheers. Cup of Joe. Let's see what
Cheers.
else we got here. Hall of Fame. Yeah, remember Harvest House? And is that
No.
Woolworths right there? Village Grill? Or is this a
This
different?
is before like I remember it.
You don't remember the mall with Woolworths?
No.
This is
I
it's
barely
Finish Line.
remember it. I kind of remember, yeah. I don't remember that Steelers store either.
That was there after.
That was wasn't that a Dunlop's? Wasn't there a Dunlop's in that mall?
A Dunlop, like the tennis?
It was a Dunham Sports. Dunham Sports.
Was there a Dunham's?
There was a
No,
sporting
it
goods
was
store there.
Koenig. It was Koenig.
Koenig's.
Koenig's.
I think that's what that Steelers store was.
I still have a pump, a ball pump that says that like has the receipt from Koenig Sports taped onto it. No, we don't want that. No, South Hills and Poughkeepsie. That ain't the one we're talking about. Food court. I remember when this was built. This was a big deal. We logged some hours in that food court. Where can I see like yeah, you don't remember the Woolworth? So when you were coming down the escalator, Woolworth, it was in the Sears stall where Sears was when we were growing up, but it was just one. It wasn't both floors. That kind of middle section, and there was a Woolworth Cafe was right next to it, a little restaurant. Yeah, it was basically like dead center of the mall. I'm surprised you never went into a Woolworth like that. I remember that's where I got like a tub of like little green plastic army figurines when I was a kid, stuff like that, you know. This is our anchor photo. And this looks pretty much like it does now, or actually I haven't been there in a long time. When was the last time you were at South Hills Village Mall? Are you not speaking to me?
sorry. I put myself on
Okay.
mute because I was clearing my throat. Classic mistake. Forgot to unmute myself. I've been there in 20 plus years.
I was there a
We
couple
moved in
years ago,
2002.
and it was weird. It's you know, still got the same, still in the same building, but doesn't have the same
Well,
feel.
dude, malls in general these days are just a dying breed.
You know, you say that, but we were at the mall on Saturday because Allison. So we're doing a baby naming for Sloan in Pittsburgh on Saturday at the synagogue. You watched me bar mitzvah at,
Ah,
and so we went to the mall last weekend for Allison to find a dress for her and Sloan. It was fucking packed. As a matter of fact, every time I've been to the mall, it's been packed. Like, and I'm talking about the Short Hills Mall, which is sort of a mall known for being upscale, and you know they've got like all the stores that make you wait in line to go in them now. Have
like
you?
what?
So
I don't know
starting in
that.
COVID,
Yeah.
high-end luxury stores started requiring people to. They would let like 7 people a time in their store. And so there's just a line of people outside of like Hermes, Gucci, whatever. And they're still doing it. They like kept it. They kept it from COVID.
Do you think that's because the theft, the threat of mass theft,
Yeah, I think
one of
it's
those
exactly
flash
right.
mob where they, yeah, okay.
I think it's actually a big social experiment to see how far they can push these people. Like as if paying $10,000 for an $800 bag wasn't like they've been doing that for years. So now they're like, you know what? What if we
Just
just
make them wait
fucking-
outside.
What if we just make them wait and let them in whenever we think it's okay? Have
Man,
you been following the the uprising of the Chinese manufacturer?
no. In
The
what
the
way?
the
I mean,
great
obviously,
unmasking? So the Chinese
no.
manufacturers, because of all these tariffs, are now
Right.
posting videos on social media. So they find the plant the plant manager who speaks English comes on and he's like, we make everything for Louis Vuitton. We make everything for Gucci. And they they finish assembling it in Italy so that they can say made in Italy or made in France. But this is where it's made, and he shows them a Birkin bag or you know some other thing, and like one guy he's like throwing them around like they mean nothing to him, right? And they're saying, come buy it from me, I'll sell it to you over WhatsApp, low price.
Yeah,
There's
I
another
bet.
guy who is selling laundry pods, 20 for $1.
Jesus, man.
Yeah,
It's I'm not surprised. Why wouldn't they make everything there? They do make everything there. It's the cheapest place on earth to make everything.
and the guy says that he's like, well, they've tried to move their manufacturing out of China, but the workers are lazy and unskilled.
How about that?
What do I
Speaking
search
of,
for
let's
to show
get,
you this?
yeah, let's just get into the politics at 7:45 in the morning.
This isn't politics. This is the there's my guy.
Birkin bags in China. The Ron Burgundy podcast did a episode on wine, and he got drunk. And I just remember the line he said. He's like, all wine is made in China.
How luxury goods are actually made? Basically, he says most of the luxury brands we use every day
I wanna
are
hear him.
Hermes boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, Hermes only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Muti from Italy. And the second is Weinheimera from Germany. And the third is Baz from France. One piece of Togo
I want
This
to. I
is
want to
one.
hear that. I was interested.
Of course you do. For the past more than 30 years, we have been the OEM factory for most of the luxury brands around the world. Gucci, Prada, Coach, Louis Vuitton, you name it. But for this, I am not proud because we were only making our wages. The profit margin for the people who are actually making the bags are very low. What I'm really proud of is that first, we have the best quality control. Two, we have the best craftsmanship. You know, Chinese craftsmen are always intelligent and diligent. Three, we have the most complete supply chain. We always get what we want, like zippers, accessories of any kind,
Sounds
any
like
color,
Wu is
and
done.
Do you
leathers.
think? Okay, hold on. Hit pause for a second.
Now,
Sorry.
as the US
Do you think he's actually
Togo
talking? Or do you
leather,
think
the same leather as this one, will cost
Okay, hold on.
$450 USD.
There's something
And one piece of the leather is only enough to make.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Do you think he's actually talking, or do you
The
think
audio
this
in
is
this one
video?
sounds bad, but
But
I've
watch,
seen
just
other-
watch his mouth as he's talking.
It's just this is a shitty. This is like someone copying a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a video, and it's starting to degrade. I've seen this
Okay.
video where I didn't question it, but I get what you mean just by watching this one. This one looks fake.
Okay. All right.
Had I not seen it before, Rich, I'd have agreed with you.
USA and its little European brothers are trying to refuse Chinese goods. Don't you think luxury brands are not trying to move their OEM out of China? Yes, they did, but they failed because the OEM factories out of China.
Who was editing this and putting the little question marks overhead in the picture of a cat? This kid's son, maybe? Like, this is the most unserious, like,
Yeah, really.
it's the
And the
most
music in the
unserious
background.
effort to upend 200-year-old luxury brands.
The trade war.
They don't have good quality control and they don't have as good craftsmanship. Their workers are either too expensive or too lazy. Three, they don't have any supply chain. They always have trouble getting leather or zippers or any accessories. That is why they failed, and that
All
is
of it.
why we will always be the best OEM factory for luxury brands.
Tarantino?
Why don't you just contact us and buy from us? You won't believe the prices we give you.
So you get a Birkin bag now for
How much? Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's find out. Let's write the guy. Contact.
You wanna get in touch with him?
Let's buy some Birkin bags.
All right. Did he have his contact?
Prices we give you.
No, of course not. I guess you gotta just send him a TikTok.
WhatsApp. Let's see.
It costs you
Surely
$100 USD.
Have y'all seen that TikTok by the Chinese guy exposing how luxury goods are actually made? Basically, he says most of the luxury brands we use every day are actually made in China.
Oh God! Thank God we have this summary video explaining to us what this guy was
That
saying,
everything's
as if
made
it
in
wasn't
China.
perfectly clear.
That's a cool looking. Look at that little car.
Dude, the whole thing looks amazing. Like this, there's no shot that this is what the Birkin bag manufacturing facility looks like, right?
Probably not. No. That looks like a microchip, like one of those
Yeah.
microprocessor.
What's this arm doing? Or maybe it's
Picking them up, put it on
putting the buckle on
the
or
robot.
something.
Maybe. I
Then
totally
shipped
believe
to
it.
Europe just to
Is there a little tiny person in this car, or are these bags just gigantic? Or maybe maybe this is like 100 feet in the air. It's forced perspective.
They're car-sized bags. Maybe. Birkin bags you can live in.
Birkin bags you can carry your car in, Rich. Come on, you can't live in a bag. That's crazy. I mean, I think this is like just a fun. Say what you will, no political discussion, but like this is a lot more fun of a presidency, unless you're looking to retire, buy a home, invest, enrich your life.
Spend
in any
money.
way.
Spend money
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah, take money out of the equation. It's really interesting.
Or not be a white American who's
Right.
not Jewish.
Right. So we made a cardinal mistake of leaving our down payment in our Amazon stock. And now we can afford much less of a house.
Yep. Well, whatever. That is a At least it was for buying something as opposed to needing that money to like pay your bills.
Bingo.
Not to diminish the.
No, I mean I don't like. So there's this guy on Twitter named Strip Mall Guy. Maybe I'll just show you this.
How do you know all this? What do you have time to do all of the, like find the Twitter and TikTok guys?
Do you
How much time on your phone do you spend a day?
Do you go on Instagram?
I do. None of this stuff comes up.
So I don't go on Instagram. So whatever Instagram time
Okay.
you're spending, this is where I am.
Okay.
So I've been following him for a while. He's got a pretty good following. He's got, you know, he's got like a couple million maybe. And he posted that, I'm trying to find it. He posted that he was like, a friend I know was saving up for a down payment and made the mistake of leaving it in the stock market, and now he can't buy a house. And I replied saying, yeah, I'm in the, you know, I made the same mistake. And this guy retweeted it and was like, everybody look at Josh. It's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to make a mistake. We could all
Jesus.
learn something from him. I was like, it's not what I.
Congrats. Everyone look at Josh. Everyone
Yeah, it was
point
like
and look
such
at
a-
Josh, but don't laugh. Just
It was like-
acknowledge that Josh did this.
Yeah, it was like everyone go follow Josh now.
It's like I made it up, but Josh actually validated my
Yeah.
fake story.
Yeah,
So
we actually found someone who did this.
mission accomplished.
Yeah. Here we go. Look, this is it. You'll love this.
So did you get a bunch of followers?
I got like 10 followers.
Yeah. Hey, 10 you didn't have yesterday. You gotta print that out. You gotta print that. Josh being honest in public about losing his down payment money to stocks.
Which isn't even what I said. Look at my original
I know.
tweet.
Look, listen. That's not how it works on social media, right? You gotta make it as big as possible.
Yeah.
He didn't think he'd get a thing out of this. No, I
Like-
didn't.
Like, I don't get it. I feel like I'm missing something.
That's really funny. You got to print that out and frame it.
Yeah, it's not a bad
Put
idea.
it in your office. Put it in your new house.
Look at
This is a house we could afford after I made the
This is-
mistake that was permanently on record on the internet.
Everyone look at Josh. He's too dumb to realize that he's just made a fool of himself in public.
Cell phone by Josh. Nah,
Yeah.
it's not.
You guys want to follow him? Go ahead, follow him. This is a guy you want to listen to. This guy who gets it wrong all the time.
So how's the house hunt going?
Well, it's not going well, Rich. Not great, Bob. So a couple of things happened. We looked at a house in our budget that we really liked, and then our realtor took us to one that's slightly out of our budget that we loved, and we ended up not putting an offer on either. And Shira was over on Sunday, and I was calling the realtor, and as the realtor picked up, I guess Shira didn't realize that I had already initiated the call. Shira in the background was like, "Don't let her fucking tell you what to do. You buy a house if you want to. She doesn't know." And the realtor was on the line. And I obviously didn't say anything. And so there was a deadline on Saturday, which is when that call happened. And then there was a deadline today. We have not heard back from her since that phone call on Saturday for the second house.
Man, the hits just keep coming.
Yeah.
Shira the saboteur.
This abattoir. So
Jesus.
yeah, that's the answer. And I think I finally figured out what's happening or how to articulate what's happening. when COVID hit, there was a huge demand for people to buy homes, right? Everyone wanted to have their home because they like had to look at their life and realize that they wanted a better living space. Interest rates were extremely low. So people could easily afford to outbid other people. And $1 million house was like under $5,000 a month, right? Now $1 million house is closer to it's about $7,000 a month, right? If you put 20% down, maybe a little bit more than 7. And people are still outbidding each other, but I don't think there's that many people who can afford a $7,000 or $8,000 a month housing payment. So because this is only impacting the haves, right? The top earners, I don't think there will be any kind of crash or bubble, but there will have to be some kind of adjustment, right? Like what you know finances better than I do, especially loans. Like what is the impact of multiple people not only overpaying for an asset, because I guess you can't really call it overpaying if that's what the market decides the price is, but panic buying and spending more than they can afford on math.
Well, that's different, right? Because then that if you're spending money you can't afford to spend, then yeah, there will be an issue. But
And
if
you
it's
have
not,
people that are in a home that is less than what they wanted when they started, much less than, and they paid more than they thought they were going to have to.
so I don't understand that point. Is your point that they will want to leave at some point and they
Not
won't be
only
able
will
to
they
sell
want
it
to
for what they
leave,
paid?
but not only will they want to leave, but when they do want to leave, what are the chances that that their asset will have appreciated enough for them to feel satisfied in overpaying for it in the first place? So either people will end up underwater on some of these homes, or they will be forced to stay in homes just because they've overpaid. And then maybe they can't make the payments anymore, or the payments are putting too much stress on them and they have to sell at a loss. I don't know.
Couple things.
Yeah,
One,
break it down for me.
I understand what you're saying, but I think people who are buying houses as to live in as assets that will appreciate are making the wrong decision. Housing is an expense.
Totally.
Not
But that doesn't mean that I'm not saying that they're buying it as an investment. I'm saying that they bought it and it's not what they like. We went from looking at 4 and 5 bedroom houses to 3-bedroom houses.
Mhm.
Things with a master bathroom to without a master bathroom. We're looking at things over $1 million that don't have air conditioning, that don't have garages, like basic shit that you feel in your daily life. And especially for younger families or even people around our age, like they're gonna get to a point where they want more, right?
I understand. I think the one thing you're not saying that you changed in your search is the location. Again, you are within 15 miles of Manhattan.
True. But what I'm seeing now, because I go deep into all this data, is even the second and third tier markets, and so San Francisco is the craziest right now because homes are going for $1 million over asking. Out here, they're going for maybe 500 or 600 over asking. You go deep into the undesirable parts of Long Island, they're selling $100,000 over asking. Upstate New York, $200,000 over asking. Minnesota, Pittsburgh, $50,000 over asking. It's all relative, right, to the wages that are being earned. But either way, like it's happening, it's widespread. So even though it's not as extreme, and that's what I meant, like it's only happening to the haves. So if this is happening to the top 1%, there probably won't be much of an impact on like a macroeconomic impact. But if it starts happening, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I agree with that. Also, you need to stop referencing asking price as some sort of standard.
Yeah, I guess because that can be manipulated.
It is a totally subjective, arbitrary number.
Okay, but then forget about asking price. How about sale price? The increase in sale price month over month and year over year. It's just as extreme. Whatever number you look at, they're increasing exponentially.
Well, I don't know.
So like the average
And I
sale
think it
price
worth
here in the town I'm living is up like 150K year over year.
But if there's not that many houses actually being sold year over year, it's more skewed towards the specific house as opposed to the location. You know what I mean? Like if only 5 houses in what some neighborhood are sold out of 1,000, that it doesn't really matter. And I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm just
No. I think it's a good point.
I think
So average
people
home
buy a
price
house,
increased
people just
5% year over year in the US.
everyone wants all the space in the world. They want to live where they want, and they want to live, and they want a mortgage that's affordable. It's impossible to do all 3. You can do 2 of those for people like us. We can't do all 3. Some people can, and those people have no problem. They just probably write checks. They don't even have to get loans to buy houses.
Right.
So the idea of you're going to be in a house and then someday you'll want more, and you'll have to reckon with the fact that you paid what you paid for the house you're living in now.
Not
That's a
someday you
reality.
want more. You want more now. You had to settle. You had to
Sure.
give up basic comforts that you've had your whole life that you'll either adjust to living without or you're going to keep wanting. It's different than like someday we're going to grow out of this house. Like you've already outgrown the house. It's just all you could afford.
Yep. I get it.
And I still can't get my head around when you put people in a neighborhood, right? There's always going to be a situation. So think about your street, right? Have neighbors to either side of you or within, when you step on your porch, I know you're not there right now, but in the view of your homes, how many of those homes have sold recently? Like within the
4
last
of
2
them.
years.
Well, I can say whenever, literally within 3 weeks of our house, us buying our house, 3 other ones on our block sold.
Out of
But
what?
before then,
30?
it was very few. I don't know that anything has sold since then on our
Okay,
street.
so a handful, let's just say maybe 10, 15%, right? So now
Yeah,
10 or 15% of the people who live on your block are paying triple what everybody else on the block is paying. And that's always going to be the case. You're always going to have people, the new people moving in are paying the most. But when it's so wildly inflated, is there any impact to that? Like, do you think there'll be any impact for? I just think it goes into, I don't know. I can't put my finger on what it is, but there's like a feeling of people are living in the same exact situation. One person is scratching to be able to afford it. The other person can afford it easily. And we're all in the same community.
Yeah, but I think if you go back, I think if you go back to when those people who have been there for 20 years bought the house that they bought.
But I'm not talking
the
20 years.
story
I'm
was-
talking like 4 years.
Yeah.
Like
So
someone who bought a house 4 years ago, if they paid $1 million, it's exactly the example I gave earlier. They're paying under $5,000, whereas today $8,000. So a $3,000 a month difference in a couple years is a fucking huge leap.
Oh, I get that, but that doesn't mean the house is more expensive. That means the debt on the house, on the mortgage.
No, it
by
means
house
that the
is more
family living in that house has much more financial strain than their neighbors. So it can mean a few things too. Like some of these homes that we're looking at that are listed in like the 6s and 7s are in neighborhoods where some of these houses are pretty run down, right? So you've got people that probably don't have a mortgage, the property value is low, and you got someone right next to it that just bought the house for $1.3 million. Then you have someone who bought their house for 150, 1.6. I don't know if there's an impact, but it feels like that's something. You know what I mean? Like, is that something? Is that just how real estate works, and I'm just now being exposed to it?
I mean, look, I'm no expert, but
Yeah, but you're
if
smart.
someone's buying a $1.5 million house next to a $150,000, abandoned property. If that's the example you're making, then
someone like a house that someone will knock down whenever they buy it.
Yeah, well, that happens all
the
the
next
time.
buyer. Yeah,
and that is a rich person play. That
yeah, Oh,
if
definitely.
that happens, there's nothing you can do or I can do about it.
It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens in like the next 10 years. And if this time of like hyper competitive, it's not that the houses themselves are that much more expensive. Well, they are, but it's that the competition is driving up the prices above what anybody should realistically be paying. Right. So I'm trying to think of like a precedent where this has happened before, where people, I don't know, maybe baseball cards is a good example, where people started paying $1,000 for a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card, which is just outside the realm of responsibility. And that's a bad example.
No,
but,
you know what it is? It's like I get that's it, but like the better are NFTs, like those monkeys. Was it the
Bored Apes?
Bored Ape? Yeah,
Yep.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Like
I
right,
saw
that is it.
I saw an interview with Steph Curry, but it was like the unedited version. And before the interview started, he was like, "Don't ask me about my Bored Ape." Right? We talked about this. Just don't ask me about it. Because he bought like a very.
I love when rich people get taken.
Yeah.
I don't. I feel nothing.
So then, let me ask this a different way. Do you think that it's wise right now to hold the line at our budget, or play the game everyone else is playing, and go over to own a home?
No. Don't buy anything you can't afford. That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
that
affordability
is the
a
only
spectrum.
way.
Like,
Let me put it this way.
We can afford it, but there would be more stress.
Then if you can't, you can either afford it or you can't. There's like more stress or less stress. Like,
Well, so like, how do you determine that though? Do you go by the percentage of your take home that you're allotting to housing?
Well, no, everyone's got a different calculation for that. It's up to
let's
you.
just say that that's the formula, and our comfort level is 35%, something like that. That we're comfortable going up to 35% of our take home and allocating it to our housing. Would you go to 40?
No.
To get a house?
If you're not comfortable doing it, why would you? That doesn't make any sense. If it's going to cause you
well, because right now we're paying rent and we have no equity, so we're taking 60 grand a year and putting it towards housing already, and we get nothing in return for that other than a place to live. So would you spend more to have equity in this thing? You know what I mean?
You have to build that into your own calculation of affordability. Like, that definition is personal to everyone. What I can afford. So? Yes. And I think it's a line, right? And you can go up to that line, and you should be prepared to go up to that line.
Dude,
but you should not be prepared at all to go past it. If you can't afford,
I just can't do it. Like, I can't do it. I'm competitive. I hate losing. I hate being beaten. I hate someone else getting what I want. But
now we're getting to it.
But like, I'm not going to. It just feels dumb. And I guess I'm trying to figure out why it feels dumb.
Dude, I get it. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
You have been looking for a house for longer than anyone I know who's been looking for a house.
Yeah.
And I wish I had the answer to help explain it rationally of why, but I don't. I mean, I don't know.
So anyway, I think we're going to put it on hold for now.
If you can't afford a house, do not buy a house. Do not buy a house you can't afford. That's like the only way you can really.
That we don't want that the house we can afford is a downgrade from what we have right now.
Right.
Significantly.
That is a logical decision. And if you
or we move.
There's options. The only option you can't put I mean, it is a contract for 30 years that is probably, it's difficult to get out of. You can solve that problem, but you will not come out where you were.
Cost, right? Like, every time.
Right.
I mean, I've looked into every option. Like, do you know that ARM adjustable rate mortgage rates are higher than the 30-year fixed right now? Of course you do. You work in this space.
Well, no, I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised. And that's probably just in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That's the case.
I mean, that's when I started looking at it. So maybe, I don't know.
Right.
Like, I didn't even consider it as that and interest only loan, something I've been looking into, which is actually not a bad idea for someone in my position where the pay is really lumpy. right? It keeps your payments down at the beginning, and then
Yeah.
you stack up, and you can adjust to a higher payment in what I think it's like 5 or 10 years. But even the IO loans are not that great of a. I mean, you're not getting much of a. Other than not only having to pay the interest, you're not getting much of a deal. And the
The-
requirements are incredibly strict, and it's hard to find a bank that wants to do it.
So that's the reason why I don't think there's going to be some grand adjustment down
Because
there was.
the banks are being
years.
disciplined.
I think, well, yeah, more discipline for sure, right?
Yeah.
But it's not. There's not going to be some crash where prices are all of a sudden. And by the way, the price when that happened, it's not like prices in the areas you're looking in. I adjusted down like they did another 50 miles west of the city, right?
4%.
Yeah, it's just it's tough, man. It's not easy, but again, there are places where you can get what you want. You're looking in one of the most difficult markets to buy a house in the United States.
Yeah, no doubt. And I don't know, moving doesn't feel like the move right now.
Then don't.
So I'm talking to a couple of AI startups, Richard. I have.
Yeah, how'd those go?
It's interesting. So the one that where I know people, I don't think I'm going to make a move to the AI avatars. I just can't get my head around it. I know that's just where they are right now, and it will develop into other things. But like I've sold a nice to have before, and it's not the way to go.
Okay.
So there's another company called. There are two that I'm still talking to. Is the drone company, the drone and software, whose mission statement is to eliminate crime.
It's not turn your lunch into a luncheon.
That's part of it.
That one.
That's step 2. Step 3 is eliminate crime. And another company called Writer, but like writer, WRITER, which is like pretty much like a do everything AI, that kind of thing.
Do everything AI. There's the problem is there's a bunch of those already, right?
Yes and no. It's like
no one's eliminated crime. There will always be crime to eliminate.
No one's eliminated crime. That's for goddamn sure. I created a spreadsheet with my goals and tried to rank each opportunity. And like I'm no closer to figuring out what I want to do.
Yeah, that not a lot of conclusions on this spreadsheet. Career goals.
Yeah, that's the name of the spreadsheet. I figured you would get a kick out of that. And my wacky ass criteria. So it's going well, but you should check out Writer. It's very interesting. It's AI for enterprises. The tricky part would be there's so many applications that like finding someone that's willing to like going through a business and finding the most interesting and lucrative ones. No problem with demand, just like sorting through. When's your goddamn house going to be done?
Never, man.
When was the last time you saw it?
Fucking, I was there yesterday.
Do you have any pictures of it?
If I have
Does
any,
it look like a house still?
here. I'll get some next time.
Is it a pile of rubble?
Pretty much. Inside it is. The basement, dude, my office is full of just like fucking tools and machines. Our basement floor's dug out. I don't know how it's gonna like look livable ever.
What costs more, your down payment or this?
Oh, this easily.
Okay, I had a feeling. I don't think I ever asked you what you're in for, but what? Give me the full scope. Give me like the short version of. Walk me through the changes on the first floor.
So
when you walk in,
it is down to the studs on the first floor.
But what will it be? It will be a bigger living room. It will be. Are you keeping the porch? Are you getting rid of the porch?
The porch is now bigger.
Expanding the kitchen.
The porch has been reframed, and it is twice the size it was. width-wise.
A bigger porch for you to slip and fall on your way out the door.
Yep. Extra
Love that.
slippery stairs, more stairs to make sure that the fall is.
Are you doing anything
damaging.
fun like putting a fireman's pole from the top floor to the basement? Or
Yes.
trap doors or secret compartments or like a bookcase where you pull a book. Or
We
you
are
being
doing
boring?
a lot of like pictures where you'll be able to like move it and so that you can look through and your guests from the master bedroom to the guest bedroom.
That's a good move.
The first floor is now just instead of 3 rooms, it's going to be 2.
So instead of
And-
living room, dining room, kitchen,
It's going to be living room, kitchen, dining room.
dining room, right?
Combined.
Open concept. And are you
The
going like
kitchen
super
was-
modern?
Sarah, yeah, it's not super modern, but it's definitely modern-ish looking.
Yeah.
My whole thing was I don't mind. I don't want to take a house that's 90 years old and try to turn it into like some farmhouse that was built in 2012 out in fucking Virginia, right? Like all these
Yeah.
modern looking farmhouses that have white brick and black shutter.
Yeah, right. I know
And
that
so-
I call that the Etsy, like the
Yeah.
Etsy home.
I feel like that
Great in
is such
pictures.
a thing that people in the distant suburbs want. And fine,
Definitely.
that's fine. I don't mind. I don't like hate that that's what it looks like out there, but that's not what our street looks like. And if we tried to do that, it would stick out and it would piss me off that we are trying to like build what we want here because that's what we want. We want to live here. Like, no, I want to build. We love our neighborhood. We love the street. We want to keep it so that it's
love
just
that.
an updated version of what was already there.
I think that's such a great way to look at it, and I wish more people did looked at it that way.
Non-negotiable. And she understood. She was on board.
Yeah.
And so our kitchen is going to be fairly modern. It's going to have green, like a forest green cabinetry
Oh, I like that.
and an island, and then a table, right? Like we're going to have cabinets, but it's going to be an island and a table in the same room. And the kitchen's going to be on the wall that the TV is on instead of in the other corner. We're moving the kitchen.
Oh, so you're
from one
moving the
corner
kitchen
of
to the
house
front of the house,
to the
southwest corner.
where the TV is staying there, but instead of we had that dining room next to it, basically on the other
Yeah.
side of the
Yeah.
little.
Yeah.
That's now along that wall is going to be the kitchen, and the island is going to be there, and
So
then
it'll
the
be a
table's gonna
galley
be
kitchen along the back wall of your house when you walk in.
galley, just meaning, yeah, it's not like its own room, but yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be yes, that's
Okay.
right.
Okay, and then the living room stays where it is.
Living room stays where it is.
Are you
In the
increasing
garage.
the square footage of every room?
No square footage is being increased on that floor in general.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Second floor. So we had I know you got to go in 10 minutes, but
It's all right. I remember
second
you
floor
walked
had
up the stairs. You had that office on the right.
that is changing a little bit. It had a like a roof like this. It was actually like kind of, you couldn't really use the whole room because the roof was really low.
Yeah, this room is like that. The roof goes like sloping down.
So we tore half of that off. We basically did this, like the back of the house went like this.
Mm,
And so now you can use this area of it
that's a big
and put a
upgrade.
window on the wall. There was a window on the side of the house, but there wasn't any windows like that on this part. So now
Got
this is here, and now there's a window here, and that's
Oh,
Sarah's office.
that's really nice. So that'll
That'll be
actually
nice.
change the curb appeal too. That'll change the look of the house from the street.
It won't. It's on the back, so
Oh, it's on the
it
back.
won't.
Oh,
you
okay.
won't
The
be able to
walls.
see it.
You're bumping out the back of that roof, the back of that steep.
That's right.
Okay.
The sun comes through the back, so that was the side to do it if you were gonna make that change.
Smart. Yep.
The room you stayed in, you probably didn't notice, but it had 2 windows in it, and I'm trying to think how this. So at one point they had push those windows out, but then they can, the window on the left when you were standing at the doorway to that room just used to exist by itself, kind of thing, if that makes sense. Like, it's tough to explain. They then
What's
built
your address, Rich?
4444. Well, I really say it out loud.
All right. Yeah, text it to me. I just want to look it up on Zillow right now.
I'll pull it up.
Okay, thanks.
I didn't want to do it just
It's
because I know
fun.
you got to leave.
It's fun to visualize. Oh, by the way, they locked me out. My job locked me out from using my iMac. Can't use a personal device to access my work stuff anymore.
No?
No. So I'm either I might be selling this and getting into a monitor purchase.
Uh-oh.
In which case there's only one decision, the 38-inch curved Dell Ultra Sharp.
I have two curved ones and I don't love them.
Do you have the curved
Yeah,
Dell Ultra Sharp?
Whatever, it's public. So this was the room you were in. These two windows were where you were.
So by itself, you mean because of that gable?
So this is called a dormer, and they built this incorrectly, and this was what was leaking. The water was coming through here into the room you were sleeping in. I think it might have we've had a hole in there whenever you guys were there.
No, it was just a stain, but I remember you pointing it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in any case, this is now all gone. And the dormer is not these little peaks. It's just like a one big sort of dormer that comes out the whole second floor, essentially.
Straight across, or it has like a steep peak?
Straight across.
Okay. That probably adds some square footage, right?
Yes, it does. The room that you stayed in is going to be huge. It added a good 3 feet to the like edge of the house, and it's also wider now. And
so
the closet was
the porch?
here is now here. Sorry,
is that why the porch is getting bigger?
No, it's not coming out to the porch, but you can't really tell that this ends significantly before the roof line ends.
Got it.
Like the livable space, it's now pushed out. So, and this porch is now going to be over to basically the side of the house.
And that's just an aesthetic change?
The porch?
Yeah.
Yes. We wanted to be able to sit out there and like our neighbors on either side have a porch.
Yeah.
That's the entire
it's a
width.
big porch, but getting a little bigger would make it more, because then you're not like sitting in the walkway, which feels weird,
You can put like a table out there. Our neighbors across the street have a porch that's the entire width, and they have a picnic table, not a picnic table, but like a table that they can sit, and she works out there all the time. What
move I like in that case is when you put the roof or the ceiling of that porch. Oh, it already is like that with the wooden slats, and then put a ceiling fan.
Yes, fan. I already have it. I got the fans in our storage unit.
Love that.
So yeah, there's gonna be a fan because we need it for the mosquitoes. They're terrible.
The fan helps mosquitoes?
It better, or else we're putting a screen in there. So yeah, this room is gone. This is now where obviously the kitchen. This is where the table will be.
But so no part of the kitchen is remaining where the old kitchen was? Correct. Got it. So the kitchen will start where it ended before.
That's right. And so this is the master. There's two closets here. This window is this window here.
Got it.
Okay.
Yep.
And see how it's pushed in? Like you can't, like it's just like a little hallway almost. It's kind of unusable.
Alcove.
These are both now the same depth as the window. And it's actually even farther out than where this window is. And so this room is now going to be bigger.
Are you putting in bigger closets or something?
Yes. So the bed will be pushed down to that end, and then there's a big like walk-in closet.
Oh, that's a big
right when you walk in.
Huge. And then are you making the bathroom bigger too?
The bathroom is this is the bathroom, man. I don't know if you were ever even in there. You can touch.
I can touch. You told me that. Yeah.
That room is going to be the width of the house, not the width of the house, the width of the room.
So
Bathroom
we're
is gonna
looking
be
at
bigger.
we're looking at a lot of homes that have, if they have a master bathroom at this point, it's like that where maybe there's
Yeah.
a stand-up shower. There's certainly not a tub, and you can touch the walls, by outstretching your arms. How long did it take for you to get fed up with that? 1,
I
2 days?
literally never used it.
Yeah. So there you go.
The shower. I mean, the toilet was fine, right? The sink, but it took forever for the water to get. Listen, man, you're gonna buy a house that's got quirks that you don't love about it. And you're just gonna have to deal with it. I mean, it's just kind of. I'm telling
Yeah,
you,
we're past
not
that
good.
point. It's just
I like the look of this bathroom. I love the subway tile, and then this
Yeah.
little. So I'm, I love that, but
Yeah, me too.
just this
It's
was
nice.
unusable. It's like an RV shower. And
Yeah,
the
it's
water-
very small.
The water pressure sucked up here. Took forever to get warm.
Are you fixing that? Are you fixing like the plumbing?
Oh yeah, the plumbing's out.
Dude.
They tore every single line in that house is gone.
So
and
you're
being
you're like
replaced.
basically moving into a new house.
Pretty much.
That's
I'll
are you
take
getting
more
rid of the
pictures when I'm over
radiators?
there. No, well, some rooms yes, some rooms no. The upstairs radiators are staying. We're going to take them out, strip them, paint them like metal, and then
Are you going to set
reinstall
them
them.
into the wall?
On the first floor. Yes.
Yeah.
Second floor, we're keeping what we have.
And are the
just getting them
ceilings getting
refinished.
higher or anything?
No, ceiling
You
height
consider
staying the
that?
same. That what if you're changing ceiling height, that becomes an even more like
It's like a level
you
up.
have. I don't know what kind of permitting you need to do that, but that would be cutting the house in half
And
and starting
in
over.
terms of the budget for this, give me, without giving me the numbers, how far above, how far above, you know what I'm asking? Where did you start? and where did you
50% of what
finish?
we paid for the house.
No, I mean, when you started budgeting for the remodel and started having conversations, it was one price. How much above that did it end up?
Doubled it.
I love that.
Because the one thing we were doing was like, which I did not want to get into was, well, let's do it in phases.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
like,
just
I'm not
making the
I'm not
hardest
doing
part
that.
of it last as long as possible.
We're doing this one time.
Yeah.
So we're going to spend the money now. We saved it for this reason.
Right.
That's why you save money. So
Right.
that was the biggest thing. We just started, instead of doing it in phases, we just decided we're doing it all, period.
Doing it all.
Yeah.
Going for gold. So when are you going back?
I'll go back. Well, I'm actually leaving. I get a fly to Dallas tonight, but I'll be back. I'll probably go over there this weekend, Friday.
No, I mean, when are you moving back?
No, I won't. Right now, end of July.
All
We'll
right.
see.
Well, if you get in this summer, we'll come visit.
Absolutely. As soon as we're in,
for
we're
the
gonna
grand
have to
opening.
go. I'm never
Yeah.
fucking leaving. What am I going to go to someone else's house? Just paid all this money for this house. I'm not
Yeah.
going anywhere. But
Yeah,
yeah,
makes sense.
that's you will be the first person I tell to extend the invite to, for sure. And you got plenty of that room. Again, it's going to be humongous. You got
We'll
plenty of room
probably
for
try
3 of
to-
you in there.
We'll probably try to buy a house while we're there. Oh shit!
I hope
All right,
you
I
do.
gotta jump.
All right, man.
All right, buddy.
ya.
See ya.